Countdown for blast off. X minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fire.
Welcome to Lord Blood-Rah's nerve-wracking theater.
Ah, my lords and ladies, geeks, geekarellas, geekulas, and geekeritas. I am Lord Blood-Rah, and this is Lord Blood-Rah's Nerve-Wrackin' Theater. And my lords and ladies, if there's one thing I've learned over my many years of being a horror host, it's this. Mad scientists should never fall in love. It just doesn't work out, you know? Either the mad scientist can't resist the urge to experiment on their loved one, add or subtract a head, try to turn them into panthers or gorillas or some such nonsense, or the object of their love simply doesn't love them. Tonight's film is yet further proof of that. Tonight, from 1944, it's the tale of love and other illnesses, The Monster Maker. The Monster Maker stars prolific character actor J. Carrol Naish, who over his long career has played everything from an evil Japanese scientist in the very first Batman serial from the 1940s to a Civil War general in the film Rio Grande. But you horror geeks out there will remember Mr. Naish as Daniel, the hunchbacked assistant to Boris Karloff in the Universal classic House of Frankenstein. Well, my lords and ladies, without further ado, I give to you yet more proof that mad science and romance just do not mix. Here is The Monster Maker.
Dad's playing beautifully tonight, isn't he?
There's no finer artist.
It is the living image of her.
course, dear. What's the matter?
Nothing, but that man in the next box keeps staring at me. Let's go back into bed when we reach him.
All right.
It is like seeing the dead return to life. I must know who she is.
That can do no good. The dead have no place among the living.
I shall be the judge of that.
Hello, Dad.
Hello, darling. Hi, Bob. How am I doing?
Marvelously. I don't believe I've ever heard you in better form.
That's because you're home from school, my dear. I was playing it for you tonight. Oh, am I glad this engagement ends my concert tour. Now I can relax, wear old clothes, and let my beard grow.
Oh, and devote some time to your only daughter. You know, I feel as if I'd been piano.
Don't bite the piano that feels, my darling. See where that is, Bob.
Yeah.
This gentleman would like a minute with Mr. Lawrence.
Just a moment. Dr. Igor Markov is waiting to see you.
Igor Markov. I don't know the man.
I'll tell him to write me for an appointment.
Oh, wait a minute, Bob. I've got a few minutes. Let him come in. My dressing gowns yet?
So I have the pleasure of addressing Mr. Anthony Lawrence.
That's right, Doctor. What's on your mind?
I should like to apologize to this charming young lady for my seeming rudeness.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about, but go ahead. This is my daughter, Patricia, Dr. Markov.
Please forgive me, young lady, for staring so rudely at you, but I really could not help it. Seeing you tonight was quite a shock because you are the living image of my wife, Lenore, as she looked at the time we were married. She was taken away from me under very tragic circumstances.
I understand. I accept your apology.
Thank you. This will always remain an unforgettable moment in my life.
Thank you.
Auf Wiedersehen. So nice to have met you. I always appreciate the privilege of meeting a great artist.
Thank you, Doctor. And good night.
Good night, sir.
Funny people, these foreigners. Do you suppose Pat really resembles his dear departed, or...
Or is right. That cock and bull story was old in Caesar's day.
It seems that the great Dr. Markov failed to make a favorable impression.
Temporarily, yes. But there will be many opportunities in the future. Besides, the doorman was not averse to accepting a little gratuity and gave me all the information I needed.
Igor, I've risked my life for you. I've kept your secret all these years. Does all this mean nothing to you? Don't I mean anything to you?
Because of your knowledge of my work, I need you as an assistant. You have never meant anything more, and you never shall. Keep that in mind.
Wow, that was kind of harsh. But what do you expect from a guy named Dr. Igor Markov? Especially with a mustache and beard like that. Yeah, you just can't trust a man with facial hair like that. They're all bound to be devious and untrustworthy. I've known a lot of guys with goatees in my life, and I'm telling you, they all... Stop that! What, this? This isn't a goatee. This is a chin beard. There's a difference. Stop that! We'll be right back.
That it could happen in America. That it could happen now. That it could ever happen to me. murder tonight. At Watergate. My apartment.
You must issue the order that he be taken alive.
The moon hasn't risen yet. Put a guard on me.
Now back to the Monster Maker, where we get a glimpse of the evil and goateed Dr. Markov's sinister designs.
Come in.
Dad, you've just got to make Dr. Markov stop pestering me. First it was flowers 3 times a day, and now he's sending notes with them. Now look, I can't stand any more of this. You've just got to make him let me alone.
Well, the man must be out of his mind. I never heard of such presumption. Now, don't you get upset about it, Pat. I'll take care of Dr. Markov. You just forget about him and let me handle this.
What are you going to do, Dad?
I'm going to call on our friend and tell him very plainly that his attentions to you are unwelcome, and he'll stop them immediately.
You'll be careful, won't you?
Careful? What do you mean?
Well, you'll probably laugh at me, but when you call on Dr. Markov, will you take Bob with you?
Pat, I can take care of myself.
You said yourself he was out of his mind. Did you notice his eyes that night in your dressing room? They seemed to stare right through me.
You've been listening to too many horror radio programs lately. What you need is a good workout on the badminton court. Come on, run along. Fear not, fair lady. I shall beard the reptile in his den.
Yes?
Mr. Anthony Lawrence is here to see you, Doctor.
I will see him in a few moments. Oh, and Maxine, you had better relieve me. I'm making a new batch of X54, and it requires constant watching.
I'll be right in, Doctor. The doctor will see you in a few minutes. Won't you be seated?
Thank you. Get back where you belong.
I wish you'd get rid of that brute. He's always hated me, and I'm deathly afraid of him.
Oh, don't be a fool. He's perfectly safe in that cage. How could he harm you? He It is silly. Besides, he is very essential to my work. Now, when that concentrated pituitary boils dry, turn off all the burners. Add some elixir, place it in 4 cc ampoules, and refrigerate them.
Yes, Doctor.
Watch it closely. See that it continues to boil, but very slowly. Now I must go and talk to Mr. Lawrence. I cannot leave him waiting any longer. Mr. Lawrence, nice to see you again.
This isn't a professional call, Dr. Markov. I've come here on a purely personal matter.
Oh, well, in that case, you'd better come into my private office.
Thank you.
Won't you sit down?
I'll remain standing if you don't mind.
Oh, as you wish.
I'll get to the point very quickly, Dr. Markov. I've come here in regard to my daughter, Patricia.
Ah, yes, a lovely young woman.
And that's beside the point. She doesn't welcome your attentions. I'm forced to ask you to stop annoying her.
I'm afraid you're being very insulting.
Your persistence has left me no other choice.
I've already explained my deep interest in your daughter. Perhaps you thought I was lying. Did you look at this picture?
What if there is a resemblance? That doesn't give you the privilege of annoying her.
But I am going to marry her.
Ma? I'm amazed at your conceit. I'm warning you, Dr. Markov. Unless you stop annoying my daughter, I shall call the police.
Stop, not so fast.
Let me.
The great pianist turned pincushion there on the floor, Mr. Lawrence, is being played by Ralph Morgan. He may look familiar to you from other genre films like Weird Woman, The Night Monster, and The Monster and the Ape, or he may be more familiar to you because of his resemblance to his brother, Frank Morgan, who played the wizard in the 1939 classic, The Wizard of Oz. Ha ha! We'll be right back.
Welcome to my humble home.
Look, Mr. Summers, I've got to get my aunt off this island. She's been this way ever since we came here. I'm just afraid if we don't get away soon, something dreadful is going to happen to all of us.
Go back.
Let me out of here! Let me out of here!
So you see, Mr. Lawrence, nobody having witnessed our encounter, I am perfectly willing to keep it a secret. Of course, if you desire to say something about it, I will admit that you threatened me with violence, and I was forced to protect myself. It is simply a case of your word against mine.
Is this Dr. Markov's residence?
Yes. Are you Miss Lawrence?
Yes.
Come in. The doctor's expecting.
Father, how do you feel?
Pat, what are you doing here?
Why, Dr. Markov said you were a little indisposed, so I came to drive you home. Are you feeling better now?
Yes, much better.
You well enough to start?
Yes, of course. Steve, help Mr. Lawrence to his car. Miss Lawrence, may I have a word with you?
Yes.
I think that your father will bear watching. If you notice him developing certain symptoms of... Well, if you notice him acting strangely, I would strongly advise you persuade him to see his doctor.
I'll remember. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have you finished?
Yes, I did exactly as you told me. Why are you working on a formula X54? I thought you were satisfied with X53.
Not quite. I have succeeded with X53 in arresting the disease acromegaly, but it will do no more than hold it in check. Come, I will show you. You will recall that after I injected him with the disease, it was allowed to proceed to this stage. Enlargement of the head, the feet, and so forth. But from the moment I gave him an injection of X53, there has been no change in the condition. Neither progressive nor retrogressive. I have every reason to hope that this new formula will prove to be a complete cure for the disease. Think what it will mean to have the power to control a dread disease like acromegaly. The only living man to have such power.
And why are you the only living man to have such power?
You know why.
Yes, I do. And you're not even a doctor. You stole the name and laboratory notes from the man you killed.
He deserved to die. And his death made it possible for me to escape from Europe as the real Dr. Markov.
And reap the rewards earned by another man with years of work and study.
What I took from him was small repayment for what he tried to take from me. The love of Lenore, my wife, the woman I worshipped. But his love cooled as I knew it would when he looked at her beautiful face and saw the ravages of the hideous disease acromegaly.
Did you deliberately inoculate her with that dread?
I did. I was determined that no other man should try to take her from me. I knew if she were no longer beautiful, no one else would want her, then I would have her all for myself. But
she could not stand the sight of her own face. So she killed herself.
This is incredible. Only a madman could do a thing like that. I'm getting out of here. I'm going to police someone. Tell them now. Police someone. Tell them what a madman. Stop.
You are going no place. You are going no place. Go to your room. Stay there.
Good to have you back again with us, Bob.
Glad to be back once more, Pat. It's no fun being away from you.
I do wish you didn't have to spend so much time out of town.
If I didn't, your father would probably get himself a new business manager. You know, it's chiefly on his business I'm away so much.
I know. Bob, do you think you could book Father for a series of summer concerts?
Pat, what are you talking about? If you knew the heavy schedule I booked him for next season, you'd want him to have a good rest.
I do, but he can't seem to rest. I don't know what's gotten into him. He seems to have so much energy. He just can't seem to work it off.
Well, let's hope it keeps up.
But it can't, Bob. Do you realize that he's up at 6 every morning? That he walks practically all day long? That I can't get him to go to bed at night? Sometimes I awaken at 2 or 3 in the morning. And he's still playing his piano. That's not normal in a man of his age.
Pat, come here. You too, Bob. Doesn't it look as if my fingers were thicker?
Well, your hands are swollen.
Well, the fingers are anyway.
I feel awkward.
When did you notice this?
The past few days, I felt something coming on. My feet, too, seem enlarged. All my shoes feel tight.
Do you suppose you've eaten something that poisoned you?
Oh, no. I'd know it if I had.
He said if you felt bad, I should persuade you to see a doctor.
Who said?
Dr. Markov.
Markov? When was that?
That day you went to see him about a social matter.
Oh, rubbish. Why should I see a doctor when I never felt better in my life?
Because I want you to, Father. Promise me you'll see Dr. Adams at once. Let me call him now.
Nonsense. There's nothing the matter with me, really. I'll tell you what I'll do. If this condition doesn't clear up by tomorrow, I'll drop in to see Dr. Adams just to put your mind at ease.
But you won't go. You put it off. Why don't you let me call him now?
Because it isn't urgent. Anyway, right now, I feel like going out for a walk.
But you've been walking all day.
I can't help it. I feel restless and full of energy.
What do you make of it, Bob?
Oh, perhaps some minor upset. But I would have him checked over by Dr. Adams.
The disease that Dr. Markov was ranting about earlier, acromegaly, is a real disease, but you can't infect anybody with it by injecting them with anything. Acromegaly is when the pituitary gland produces too much growth hormone, and it results in a person's hands, face, and feet becoming enlarged. Now, the most famous person to have acromegaly and to actually build a career from it was the character actor Rondo Houghton, who made a career out of playing brutish henchmen and murderers. Now, other than that, anything else this movie has to say about the disease just isn't true. And believe me, you should never, ever take medical advice from any of the films we show here on the Nerve Wrackin' Theater. I watched The Brain That Wouldn't Die once, And later on, I tried to... I can't say anything more about that. The court case hasn't come up yet. We'll be right back.
For 2 million years in these subterranean caves, a creature of superhuman evil was entombed in a wall of ice, waiting to be free, waiting to live again. Travel with us on a journey into a world where nightmare becomes reality.
Are you telling me that an ape that lived 2 million years ago got onto that crate, killed the baggage man and put him in there?
Yes, I am. It's alive. It must be.
Travel with us, if you dare, on the Horror Express.
We'll search the train and find it, whatever it is, and destroy it. But if it's alive... I want this kept quiet. I don't want to panic the passengers.
The malignant power of this creature is indestructible, transferring its force from mind to mind, from body to body.
Beast is not dead. I put 4 bullets into him.
You think evil can be killed with bullets? Satan lives.
The animal that you shot was only the host. It's alive in someone on this train.
You saw his eyes. One look at them and you're dead.
Anything that moves near that door, kill it!
Run. Run for your life. Hide, but you can't escape. No one can stop the fury and the terror of the Horror Express.
And now back to the Monster Maker, as Mr. Lawrence receives some rather startling news. Give it to him straight, Doc. He can take it. Wake up back there!
And how are you feeling today, Mr. Lawrence?
Physically, extremely well.
And your appetite?
Still increasing.
Mr. Lawrence, after studying all the results of your laboratory tests, X-rays, metabolism records, I have reached a conclusion. But not being satisfied with my analysis alone, I called into consultation Dr. Kruger and Dr. Naylor, whose reputation, of course, you know.
Yes, certainly.
And they, without any hint from me, both came to the same conclusion. Acromegaly.
Acromegaly?
Yes. It's a very rare disease, glandular in origin, activated by a defective pituitary.
Doctor, can't you tell me in plain English what's wrong with me and how serious it is?
I'm trying to tell you. You have a glandular disorder, a disorder of the pituitary gland. A disease so rare that medical science knows little about it as yet.
Is it fatal?
Fatal? Well, not necessarily. It's a progressive disease, enlarges the extremities. It's accompanied by an increasing amount of energy to a fabulous and dangerous degree.
Is it curable?
Mr. Lawrence, there is but one man, to my knowledge, who knows anything important about acromegaly. He's a specialist in glandular disorders, and I understand has devoted a great deal of research to this particular disease. I urgently suggest that you consult this man. who is in a position to do more for you than any person in the profession.
Who is it?
Dr. Igor Markov.
Dr. Markov.
Yes, do you know him?
Yes.
Strange you didn't think to consult him.
Well, I've just met him socially.
I don't know him socially, but his name ranks among the top names in the profession. His reputation is international. So he is, therefore, the man that you should see, Mr. Lawrence.
I'd rather not see Dr. Markov. Isn't there anybody else I can consult?
No. He's the only man I know that can help you. He has not seen fit as yet to give out his findings or his method of treatment to the profession. So, therefore, if you're to be helped, you must go to him.
And there's nothing you can do for me, Dr. Adams?
Frankly, Lawrence, nothing effective.
Well, thank you for your frankness.
You will see him?
I'll think it over.
Hello, Stack. Is Miss Lawrence in?
Oh, how do you do, Mr. Blake? I tell Miss Lawrence you're here.
Bob, darling, I'm so glad you're back.
I've only been away 4 weeks. How are you, sweetheart?
I'm so worried.
About what?
About Father.
What's he been up to now?
Well, that's just it, Bob. I don't know. He's locked himself in his room for weeks. He hasn't allowed anybody in to see him. Stack takes his meals into him, but he has to leave the tray in the music room. He says the door into the bedroom is locked, and that Father won't come out until after he's left.
Is he in there now?
Yes, but the door from the music room into his suite is locked from the inside.
He sounds in excellent form.
He hasn't touched the piano in weeks.
Blake, take her out of here, quick! Oh, Stack. Have William bring my car around to the side entrance immediately and leave it there. I'll drive it myself. No.
Darling. Easy, darling. You fainted.
Bob, did you see what I saw?
What are you talking about?
Did you see his face? His head. It was so large.
It's your imagination, darling. The lights in there were strange, that's all.
No, Bob, no.
Maxine, see who's in my waiting room. Maxine! Maxine, are you there? Maxine! 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 Lawrence.
Yes, Markov. Weren't you expecting me? You knew I'd have to come to you sooner or later. To you, the one man with experience concerning the hideous disease of acromegaly. Oh, you had it cunningly worked out, Markov. So I would be forced to come to you alone for help. Then you would be in a position to dictate your own terms in exchange for that help. Terms which no doubt would involve my daughter, Patricia. Oh, you were clever, Markov. Exceedingly clever. As the only man with sufficient knowledge of the disease, not only to alleviate it, but to infect a person with it, you hold a decided advantage. So you see, Markov, I know you infected me with something that caused acromegaly. But how you made the disease develop so rapidly, when science has proven that it takes years to reach this stage, I do not know. But you did. And now, Markov, I come to you as you knew I must, to make terms. I've come to make terms.
No, Lawrence, you overestimate my control of the disease. I've made an extensive study of it. Yes, that is true. But after all, I am only an apprentice.
Yes, the devil's apprentice. Markov, you have set yourself up as a Frankenstein and created a monster. I am that monster. But if you remember, a monster destroyed the man who created him. That is what I'm going to do to you. Destroy you!
Good work, Steve. Put him on that chair while I prepare an anesthetic.
Herbie began this evening.
But I must put my mind at rest.
Can't you take my word for it, Pat?
I'm sorry, Bob. In this case, I can't. It's locked.
You see, he doesn't want to be disturbed.
But I must see him.
Oh, not tonight, Pat, please. In the morning, perhaps. I'll tell you what. I've got to see him in the morning on some business. And as soon as I've finished, I'll send for you. How's that?
Well, make it early. I can't have this hanging over my head.
I know, dear, and I'll make it just as early as I can. Now, how about getting some rest for yourself? You look exhausted.
Oh, I suppose I do, but I can't help it.
You look lovely to me, dear. But you do need rest. Now run along. Sleep well.
I'll try. Good night.
Good night. Oh, Stack. Stack, have you got a key to the music room?
Why, no, sir. Why?
Well, it's locked, and I wanted to see Mr. Lawrence.
I'm sorry, sir, but he's gone out.
Out?
Oh, yes, sir, about a half an hour ago. He had his car brought around and then dismissed William.
Where did he go, do you know?
Not the slightest idea, sir. I didn't see him, but William said he was all muffled up.
Oh. Stack, I wish you'd ring me at home when he comes in.
Very good, sir. And shall I wait up for him, sir?
Well, no. If he comes in soon, you might ring me. Otherwise, go to bed. I'll see him in the morning.
Very good, sir.
Good night, Stack.
Good night, Mr. Blake.
Markov, you have set yourself up as a Frankenstein and created a monster.
Stein. That's Frankenstein. But go on.
I am that monster. But if you remember, a monster destroyed the man who created him. That is what I'm going to do to you. Destroy!
And what a coincidence you mentioned Frankenstein. Dr. Markov's giant assistant there is being played by none other than Glenn Strange, the actor who would play the Frankenstein monster in the 1944 classic The House of Frankenstein, and would go on to play the monster in 2 more films. In total, he played the Frankenstein monster 3 times, the same amount of times as the monster's originator, Mr. Boris Karloff. Aren't you glad you woke up for that? We'll be right back.
From ancient Genesis to the modern screen, is the name written in blood. Ega!
If I could just call you on the phone. The code of the ghost at the sign of the toad. Nobody lives on the Brownsville Road.
Thrill to the newest recording star, Archibald Jr.
Oh, they scream in this way.
See ravishing Marilyn Manning in a thrilling, chilling story. the last of the prehistoric giants sees his first girl. Noah. Curious newsmen search deep in giant country for the last of the ancient cavemen. See a tough giant tamed by the soft hands of his captive woman. See him sacrifice his ageless beard for her love. Then lose her to a boy in a dune buggy, escaping a burning desert. Igor's primitive passion was love or kill. Here Igor talked, the ancient language of love, used at the beginning of time. See Igor!
Put him in the room of the surgery in the East Wing.
How could you be so inhuman as to infect him with that disease in order for his daughter?
Who gave you that idea?
You left the dictograph open. I heard every word that was said.
Forget what you heard. It does not concern you.
I'll not forget. If you don't give up that insane idea of marrying Patricia Lawrence, I'll tell the truth about you.
You would not dare.
Oh, yes, I would.
Does this mean that I have completely lost your loyalty?
You speak of loyalty. You don't even know the meaning of the word. You seem to forget all the things I've done for you. I've even risked my life for you, hoping that you might realize how much I love you, that someday you might return that love. But no. All I meant for you was just someone to help you attain your own selfish aims. I'm tired of it. I can't stand it any longer. Do you hear me? I can't stand it. I'll never let you marry that girl. Never. Never, never, never!
Maxine, you heard nothing. You heard nothing. You heard nothing. Now go to your work. have to go back in the other room.
Good morning, Doctor. The murder's cage was left unlocked last night.
No, really? Why, he could have killed somebody.
Yes, he could have killed me if Ace hadn't heard me scream and driven him back again to the cage.
Oh, well, you are very fortunate.
Very.
And so am I. I could have lost a valuable assistant.
How do you suppose the cage was left unlocked?
Oh, I suppose the attendant was careless. I shall discharge him immediately.
normal. You've discovered a cure.
Maxine, it is marvelous. Maxine, this is great. Do you know what it means? It means that I can ask my own price. I can... Yes. Oh, by the way, Maxine, I have a special prescription I want filled at Handcuff and Groves. You will go and see to it yourself personally.
Goodbye, Jules. You never left me without saying goodbye.
No clues, no fingerprints, no motive, nothing.
But surely if a man was choked to death, there would be imprints on his throat.
Why in the world do you stay in this place?
We can't leave.
Couldn't it be ordered over the phone?
If I wanted it that way, I would have said so.
Very well.
Good morning, Mr. Ack.
Good morning, Miss Lawrence.
Have you taken my father's breakfast into him yet?
No, I haven't.
You haven't? Why not?
Well, as a matter of fact, your father isn't in.
Isn't in? Where did he go?
I don't know. He didn't say.
When did he go?
I can't exactly say. Sometime last night.
Last night?
Yes, miss.
You mean he's been away all night and left no word?
Absolutely none.
I'll get it. Hello? Yes, Miss Lawrence speaking.
This is Dr. Markov. Now, please don't be alarmed, but your father came to me last night for a consultation.
Father came to you last night for a consultation?
Yes. I found it advisable to keep him here for observation.
How is he?
Well, he's quite comfortable now. Yes, quite comfortable, Miss Lawrence, I assure you.
I'll be right over and pick him up and bring him home.
I would strongly advise against taking him home, Miss Lawrence.
But why? I can't leave him there. Do you think I should take him to a hospital?
I suggest you leave him right where he is, Miss Lawrence. You see, I have all the facilities here to take care of him in my sanatorium.
Oh, I didn't know you had a sanatorium, too. I'll be right there. When Mr. Blake arrives, tell him I've gone to Dr. Markov, 1335 Cliff Drive.
Dr. Markov's 1335 Cliff Drive.
Yes.
Very well, miss.
Lawrence, I want you to try hard to understand what I'm saying. Try hard. This is Dr. Markov. I can save you, Lawrence. I can cure you. Do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good. Remember that I am the only one that can cure you, and I will cure you on one condition. A very simple condition, Lawrence. Your daughter is on her way over here now. I want you to persuade her to be very agreeable to me.
No.
You can convince her that it is you she is coming to see. You can tell her that I am helping you. That is a very little thing to ask for your cure.
No.
Very well. We shall see about that.
Dr. Markov, please.
Come in. Dr. Markov wants you to wait in there.
How long ago did she leave for Dr. Markov's stack?
About a half an hour ago, I should say, sir.
I'll have to step on it. 1335 Cliff Drive, you
That's
said.
correct, sir.
I do not have to cure you, Lawrence, because nobody knows I have discovered the cure.
Miss Lawrence is here.
Miss Lawrence. Oh, it is a great pleasure seeing you again.
Dr. Markov, how is my father?
He's resting comfortably.
Please be frank with me. What's the matter with him?
It's a glandular ailment.
How serious is it?
Well, Miss Lawrence, I'm afraid it is quite serious, particularly in your father's case.
Why particularly so in his case, Dr. Markov?
Well, you see, the peculiar disease your father is suffering from causes extreme enlargement of the extremities, the hands, feet, and certain portions of the head. In a professional pianist, it is fatal. That is to the continuance of his career, I mean. Not only are his fingers incapacitated for the intricacies of delicate performance, but his very appearance, upon which so much depends for public approval, is most uninviting.
Oh, I don't know. He doesn't look that bad. He dresses nice. So what if he can't play the piano anymore? Maybe he can go into stand-up comedy. He kind of has Jay Leno's chin. You know, I was going to insert a picture of Jay Leno here, but it just seemed kind of mean. Yeah. Plus, I don't want to get sued.
Dance, baby, dance, come and dance with me. Hear the beat of the pounding sea. Ride, baby, ride, come and ride with me. Let your feet go easy.
What do you make of this? Where does the other end go? It dumps into the ocean.
It looks exactly like the South American Fantigua fish. I hope you can take one alive, Sheriff.
I still believe that a human clawed that girl to death. The Beach Girls and the Monster, starring John Hall, Sue Casey, and the glamorous Watusi dancing girls from Hollywood's famed Whiskey A Go-Go nightclub. Music by Frank Sinatra, Jr.
You got a monster in the surf.
Chicks, do you have a problem? you won't have after you meet the monster on the beach. If you see this ghoul, play it cool. Beauties in bikinis, laughing, singing, surfing, sinning. Beach party lovers making hey hey in the moonlight while the monster waits and watches. Yeah. This one will kill you.
Now, on to the conclusion of The Monster Maker, and then a special ghostly surprise.
Dr. Markov, how does it happen my father came to you?
I think you will find that your Dr. Adams sent him to me.
Dr. Adams?
Yes. Dr. Adams made exhaustive tests and in consultation with several eminent colleagues of his, diagnosed your father's case, and correctly so, as acromegaly.
Acromegaly? I never heard of it.
Few have. It is very rare. And since glandular disturbances are my special field and acromegaly my particular interest, your father was advised to consult me.
With what results?
I am anxious to cure your father, Miss Lawrence. Most anxious. Providing he is willing to obey my instructions to the letter.
Do you anticipate any lack of cooperation on his part, Dr. Markov?
Perhaps some. You see, Miss Lawrence, it is rather long and slow treatment. Naturally, a man of your father's nervous temperament will be impatient, obstinate, even rebellious on occasion. Progressively so, as the brain begins to function more normally. You see, Miss Lawrence, your father is mentally incompetent.
You mean he's...
Oh, well, shall we say, temporarily unbalanced mentally. The functioning of the pituitary, being aggravated by pressure, makes the patient physically violent on occasion, and great care must be taken that he does not do violence to himself or to others.
Dr. Markov, I'm my father.
I can easily understand your need to do so, Miss Lawrence. And I would gladly save you the pain if I could. But I know you will not be satisfied unless you do see him for yourself. Besides, it will give you a basis for comparison. It will give you new hope from day to day as you see him improve.
Where is he? Take me to him.
In a moment. But remember, although he is still under a sedative, he might easily be aroused to violence. I would advise not to excite him, merely to reassure him that he will receive the very best of care, that you will see to it yourself personally, and that you recommend he do everything possible to cooperate with us.
I will. Take me to him.
This way, Miss Lawrence. You know what to do. And remember, Miss Lawrence, advise your father. Fullest cooperation in every way possible.
Can't go in there, Maxine.
Why not?
Dr. Markov said so.
Father, speak to me. It's Pat. Father. Speak to me. It's Pat. It's Patricia, Father. I'm here.
Pat.
You're going to be all right. Dr. Markov said so.
Markov.
Yes. He's going to cure you, he and I.
Markov. No. Markov. No.
Dr. Markov, why is he strapped down?
To prevent his doing violence to himself or to others, Miss Lawrence.
Take them off. Take them off, do you hear?
Well, that would be very dangerous.
Take them off, I say. Take them off at once.
stop that. Calm yourself. Calm yourself, Miss Lawrence.
I don't care what you say. You can't treat him like a wild animal.
It's a necessary precaution, Miss Lawrence. If he were to become violent, he would be extremely dangerous.
I don't care what you say. You can't treat him like a wild animal.
His recovery depends solely on you.
What do you mean?
I will cure your father when you decide to become my wife.
Let go of me. I'll never marry you.
Never is a long time. But some people do change their minds.
Is he all right?
Yes, he's just fainted.
Dr. Markov was the only man who could cure dead. But him dead, there's not much hope left.
Oh, yes, there is, Miss Lawrence. I'm familiar with the serum Dr. Markov has perfected for the cure. He has been using it to bargain with your father for you. He'll be all right. It might take a little while, but he'll be all right.
Thank you.
Well, it looks like Mr. Lawrence's face and hands deflated rather nicely there, and he's back out on the road. Not exactly my kind of music. I prefer the monster mash, but oh well, to each his own. And after this, a special tale of lost love and a Ouija board.
Larry!
From the exotic geisha houses of Tokyo to the back alleys of the Ginza Strip comes the terrifying news of a fiendish creature that threatens to destroy all who stand in his way. This is the frightening story of an American reporter in Tokyo who unwittingly became the victim of a shocking scientific experiment that turned him into a horrible mutant, half man, half monster, the Manster.
What happened?
He got away.
I think I know where he's going, to Tara's. Follow me.
Right. There's panic in the streets as the unheard of terror of a half man, half monster runs wild through the city. There he goes! Don't miss The Manster, a genuine thriller in the most frightening sense of the word.
Well, my lords and ladies, as always, a short film means a big surprise, and tonight's surprise is an episode of the classic TV series One Step Beyond. In tonight's tale, a neglected wife finds companionship from an unearthly realm. Ha-ha! Here is the One Step Beyond tale, The Secret.
Where is Sylvia Ackroyd? Many have asked that question. Her husband, her friends, the police, especially the police. I'm not the first, nor will I be the last to visit this room. It's Sylvia's room, now become one of the world's more celebrated bedchambers, thanks to Scotland Yard's highly trained clue seekers. They began, as they usually do, with personal effects. With these dresses, all knit by hand. Lonely hands. The hands of a woman who had nothing else to do. But where is Sylvia now? Dead? But not exactly. Well, not officially. That morning, the 4th of April, was an important day. It was her birthday.
Sylvia?
Her 40th birthday.
Good morning, my dear.
Harrison?
I have something for you. You should have come down to breakfast this morning. Essie did something triumphal with kidneys and bacon.
Kidneys make me nervous at the best of times, let alone breakfast.
Now, do you mind signing here and here?
What is it?
It's a new stock I'm buying now. Now, please, dear, I'm in rather a hurry.
I'm sorry, but I do like to be told about things now and again.
I'll tell you later. Incidentally, I won't be home for dinner tonight.
I didn't expect you. It's Friday. You're always late Fridays.
Merely because Friday happens to be the most opportune evening for filling business associates with expensive champagne.
Of course.
As a matter of fact, I'm taking Horton Bassett out of Sunningdale.
Really?
You remember Horton? He was with me during the war. The three of us used to go out together in Paris.
He was with us the night we won that waltz contest at Bricktop's. That was such a beautiful, lovely night.
You have a very good memory, my dear.
I need it.
Shall I give Horton your regards?
Do.
Well, have a good day.
You too. Good day. A good day.
Mrs. Ackroyd, where are you?
I'm down here, Essie.
What are you doing down there?
Celebrating my birthday.
Oh, thank goodness. I've been wanting to get this place cleaned up. 10 years this stuff's been lying around here.
All the things I had in Paris.
Oh, the welfare people could use some of these. Here's a perfectly good sweat.
Oh, no, Essie. This saved my life. You didn't have any heat during the occupation.
Oh, living in the past when them things could keep some poor kid warm.
Oh, Essie, look. Our transmitter. We used to send messages on that across the channel, and you don't know how I...
You know, we really should send some of these things to the hospital.
My diploma from the Sorbonne before the war.
What's all this?
Oh, Essie. Madame Solon and I made these the day the Allies marched into Paris. We dyed little strips of rags with red and blue ink, and, oh, we waved them and waved them as the boys came marching up the Champs-Élysées the day I met Harrison. Oh, Essie, it was so exciting.
Well, it's over now.
Yes, it certainly is. It's hard to believe it was even me.
What's this? A game for young and old. Oh, well, that can go to the hospital. There's room in there for some of these clothes.
No, Essie.
Well, what is it?
Jeremy. 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 You remember today. Oh, bless you. I needed it so much. Cherub, cherub, cherub. Oh, Wessie, that's not very big.
You're lucky to get anything, sending me down at the last moment. 3 shops I had to go to for enough candles. And I got lamb chops for your dinner.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Maybe I should get some more. There's only enough for one.
No, that's right, Essie. Dinner for one. I'll have it up here on a tray.
Sir? I was wondering if you knew a man called Jeremy.
Doesn't that look good? Jeremy who?
I don't know. He came to call on Mrs. Ackroyd yesterday.
Jeremy. Oh, probably Jeremy Carlos from the Spanish consul. What did he look like?
Oh, I didn't see him. He came when I was down at the shops. Mrs. Ackroyd asked me to get her a birthday cake, and it was when I got back.
Was it her birthday? Heavens, Essie, why didn't you remind me?
Anyway, it was quite a party.
Well, good. I'm always telling Mrs. Ackroyd she should have more friends. Have a few laughs.
Well, there were plenty of laughs yesterday. I could hear them even when I was down here, dusting the sitting room.
Good morning, darling.
Good morning.
It's all right, Essie. I'll help myself. Oh, I'm so hungry this morning, I could eat your kidneys.
Scrambled eggs.
Oh, so they are.
Darling, I'm sorry about yesterday.
What?
Your birthday.
Oh, darling, I forgot yours last year. Anyway, I thought you were just being tactful. You know how women dread birthdays. I was saying to... I was thinking... That's one advantage in not having any children.
You never miss an opportunity, do you?
I didn't mean it that way. I just meant that this way I can stay the same age forever without suddenly finding I have a daughter years older than I am.
Anyway, I'm glad you had a nice day.
I did.
Essie tells me you had quite a party. Who was here?
Oh, it wasn't really a party. I just thought a birthday cake would be fun.
That man from the consul?
Who?
Carlos?
Carlos. Oh, no, Harrison.
Then who was here?
There was no one here.
Sylvia, what you do is your own affair. I use that word judiciously. Frankly, I don't mind, as long as you're clever enough to keep it that way. But you must understand my position. I will not risk adverse publicity. I don't intend to find my name in the morning papers. I hope I make myself perfectly clear.
Jeremy? You know, Harrison thought I... Oh, Jeremy. Harrison, you're early.
Where did you go tonight?
Oh, I got bored with the house, so I thought I'd dine out.
Oh, so you thought you'd dine out.
Yes, Harrison. It's Friday, your night out. I thought it was time for my night out, too.
Where did you go?
Paglino's.
Did you see anyone we know?
Yes, I saw the Bradens.
And did they see you?
They were sitting at the next table.
Well, you're going to tell Lily Braden right now delightful it is to have your cousin over here on a visit from France. And
No,
that you will...
I won't, Harrison. Because Lily wouldn't know what I was talking about. Yes, they did see me. In fact, they asked me to join them. Because I was by myself, dining alone.
You're a liar as well.
Assume the position and open your minds wide. It's time for your cranial cavity search. Yes, my lords and ladies, the cranial cavity search. Here's a chance for you great geeks out there to prove your geek cred by showing what you know. And tonight's cranial cavity search question is: the star of tonight's film, J. Carrol Naish, played Daniel, the hunchbacked assistant to Boris Karloff in the classic House of Frankenstein. But Mr. Naish would go on much later in his career to play Dr. Frankenstein himself in a 1970s low-budget film. What was the title of the film in which J. Carrol Naish played Dr. Frankenstein? Was it A. Dracula versus Frankenstein, B. Frankenstein's Castle of Freaks, C. Frankenstein 1980, or D. Island of Frankenstein? In which film did J. Carrol Naish play Dr. Frankenstein? Think about it, my lords and ladies, while these commercials play on your last nerve. And the answer to tonight's cranial cavity search question: in which film did J. Carrol Naish play Dr. Frankenstein? It was A. Dracula versus Frankenstein.
Dracula versus Frankenstein. Dracula versus Frankenstein.
Yep, that's J. Carrol Naish there. Of course, much older in this 1971 low-budget flick. In fact, this was Mr. Naish's last film. It was also the next to last film for his co-star, the great Lon Chaney Jr., who played the mad zombie Groton. But now, on to the conclusion of the One Step Beyond tale, The Secret, as Sylvia's husband accuses Sylvia of seeing another man, which, you know, she kind of isn't, because he's not really a man, he's a spirit. Anyway, let's see how this soap opera works out.
How dare you!
Now, what about this afternoon?
Oh, I haven't had time to type it up yet, sir. Here you are.
Let's see. 12:30 cold lobster and salad at the Dover Butchery. 1:15 proceeded along Dover Street to Bailey's Gallery in the Prince's Arcade. Made purchase of 4 pictures. Did you see what they were?
Well, without getting too closer, they look like military prints. Soldiers in different kinds of old-fashioned uniforms.
Yes. 140 took taxi along to the Leicester Square Cinema. American musical starring Sid Charisse and G. Did she meet anyone?
Not today, sir. And Mrs. Ackroyd left the cinema about 4:25 and took a taxi home.
No visit to the museum today?
No, not today, sir.
And all this time, she never talked to anyone?
Well, not to anyone, sir.
What do you mean?
Well, when she thought no one was looking, she talked a lot, sir. In a low whisper. And laughing, sir. Your wife laughs a lot. But always to herself.
I see.
Jeremy, why can't I see you? Oh, you're always saying one day, one day. It's maddening. Jeremy, come over here to the piano. This little figurine. See if you can move it. It's not ridiculous. Well, then show me. Push it over, please, Jeremy. All right, it's silly, but I just want to see if you can do something physical. Jeremy, no. Harrison paid a fortune for... Oh! What'll I tell Harrison? But how? I don't know how to play the piano. But I can't. All right. What do I have to do? Yes. Yes. I can feel your hands on mine. Jeremy. That's beautiful. Look at my fingers. You never told me you could play like this. Jeremy, please let me see you just once. I'll do anything. Yes, what? I promise. This afternoon, I'll go to Hartnell's and buy the giddiest thing I can find. You will? Honestly? Now, Jeremy, don't tease me. I couldn't bear it if you... When? Jeremy, tonight. What time? Oh, Jeremy, I want to know how tall you are and the color of your eyes and what you look like when you laugh. Turn that off. How could you? How could you? How could you spy on me? How could you? How could you?
Here, drink this.
It's pathetic, isn't it? All these weeks you've been suspicious. Now you know. I do have a friend. Now you know why I couldn't tell you about him. Wasn't because I was frightened you'd be jealous. I wish you could have been. If you were capable of jealousy, this wouldn't have happened.
I know one thing, Sylvia. I know that you're ill. You need a doctor.
No! You don't know anything. I'll tell you. Do you remember me? I don't mean the heroine of the resistance or anything like that. I mean me. Me, the way I was. Fun and pretty and enthusiastic about things. Do you remember? What happened to me, Harrison? I died. It wasn't getting older that did it. Harrison, I loved you very much.
Sylvia, you must...
Just listen. When I found out about you, I should have fought to keep you. But I didn't. I just gave in. I stopped living. Until 3 weeks ago, Harrison, on my birthday, something happened to me. And all of a sudden, I was moving again, and there was color and fun and sunlight. Because someone was showing me some affection.
Who?
Someone incredibly kind.
But who, Sylvia?
Do you know what a Ouija board is?
A Ouija board? What are you talking about?
You remember when Pierre Dardet was captured, and we couldn't get any messages across anymore. Well, Madame Soulon had read a book on telepathy. It seemed pretty far-fetched, but we were desperate enough to try anything. The nights were long, anyway. So somewhere she found a Ouija board. Well, you've seen them. You put your hands on it and they write messages. It's a board. Well, anyway, it didn't work. Not for the purposes we wanted, but we did make a friend.
Go on, Sylvia, go on.
Before God, I'm telling you the truth. At first, the writings were meaningless, but slowly, there was sense, and then Jeremy.
Jeremy?
Yes, he was a soldier who fought for France in 1870. And, oh, I know this sounds unbelievable, but I've checked it. I've checked in every book in the library. Everything he told us, it's all there. His name, his regiment, where he fought. I swear.
Go on, Sylvia, go on.
Well, we began to depend on Jeremy very much. He used to tell us where we could find food from the Germans, and he warned us before the Gestapo made searches, and he... Best of all, he made us laugh. Well, that's my lover. A man who's dead 80 years.
Operator, would you give me the number of the Belden nursing home, please?
What are you doing?
4561.
Harrison, why are you calling that place?
I'm sorry, Sylvia. We need a doctor.
That's not a nursing home.
Hello. Can I speak to the doctor in charge, please?
But you can't. You can't. Everything I told you was the truth.
Hello, doctor. This is Harrison Ackroyd speaking. Could you come over to my house, please, as quick as possible? It's my wife. Yes, we live quite nearby.
There's nothing the matter with your wife.
443 Queensgate, as soon as possible, please.
I'm not insane. I'm not. I can prove it. I can. Jeremy promised me. Jeremy, you promised. What time is it?
Almost 7:30.
7:30. Jeremy, please. I need you. Harrison, if you wanted to get rid of me so badly, why didn't you tell me? I would have given you a divorce. This was a cruel way of doing it.
Sylvia, I don't want to argue at this moment.
I want to argue.
You can't see it clearly now, but what I'm doing is the best for you. You see, you need care.
No! Yes, I do need care, but not from a doctor.
When the doctor comes, I'm sure he'll make you understand better than I.
I won't see him! You mustn't do this. Harrison, please don't do it.
I'm sorry, Sylvia.
Now listen to me. If you heard him too, if you heard his voice, if you saw him... Jeremy, you promised. I never needed you so much. Jeremy!
Sylvia!
Harrison, the tape recorder. The piano. Now, you know I can't play the piano, Harrison, but you heard me play it on the tape recorder. That was Jeremy. If I can do it now. Jeremy, help me. Help me. Help me, help me, help me.
Sir, the doctor's here.
Doctor, I'm Harrison Ackroyd. That is my wife.
You can trust me. You'll be happy where you're going. Come on now.
Is it necessary for me to come with you, Doctor?
Not at all.
I'm sorry, sir.
Oh, don't bother to make up the fire, S.C. I'll be going out almost immediately.
Oh, I hope the doctor's not having any trouble. Sir.
Mr. Aykroyd?
Yes.
I'm Dr. Werner.
Who?
Werner. We talked earlier on the telephone. From the hospital. I've come for your wife. Where is she, Mr. Aykroyd? Where is she?
When she left this house, Sylvia Aykroyd joined that bizarre band of human beings who have simply vanished from this earth. Finally, utterly. It would be nice to believe that Jeremy did keep his promise. He told her she'd be happy where she was going, wherever that may be.
Well, my lords and ladies, Sylvia is happy wherever she is, we assume. Mr. Lawrence is once again touring with his piano, acromegaly-free, and I have avoided being sued by Mr. Jay Leno. What? Hey, what? No! Stop that! Stop that! Okay. That was close. Well, my lords and ladies, I want to thank you all for watching, and I want to invite you all back again next week. I hope we'll be back next week, when we'll do all of this, whatever it is, all over again. I hope. As always, I am Lord Blood-Rah saying, geek out. Please don't sue Mr. Leno.